Good morning. It's a pleasure for me to take a class. Today we will read Daffodils by Wordsworth. Now you find that Wordsworth is a romantic poet. Again, when you start telling students romantic, you must tell them what is romantic. Romantic means something, those are very highly imaginative. Romance. What do you mean by romance? A kind of excitement, kind of feeling that you find with the people, the imaginative people. Okay? So you find that romantic is a concept that those who go beyond the day-to-day reality, okay? Suppose you see a flower, which is rare flower, and you write a poem, you sing about that, okay? Suppose you find you want to go to forest. You want to see something, not the jungle, but the birds. So you are romantic. That not day-to-day life you are confined. You find something new. Okay? You can say Ramakrishna Paramahamsa was romantic. Yes, Ramakrishna was romantic. He didn't find the same thing in religion as you all find. Romantic. So you find Wordsworth was a romantic poet. Now Wordsworth lived 80 years, 1770 to 1850, and find Daffodils is one of the finest poems in English literature. The daffodils is a kind of flower, small flowers, small, and they are beside the lake. And in England, there's a very big lake, Weymouth Lake. And there you find, by the side of the lake you find the small flowers. Look, let me read the poem. I wandered lonely as a cloud. That floats on high over vales and hills, when all at once I saw a crowd, a host of golden daffodils. Beside the lake, beneath the trees, fluttering and dancing in the breeze, continuous as the stars that shine and twinkle on the Milky Way. They stretch its never-ending line along the margin of a bay. 10,000 I saw at a glance, tossing their heads in sprightly dance. The waves beside them danced, but they outdid the sparkling waves in glee. A poet could not but be gay. In such a jocund company, I gazed and gazed, but little thought what wealth the soul to me had brought. For oft where on my couch I lie, in vacant or in pensive mood, they flash upon the inward eye. which is the bliss of solitude. And then my heart with pleasure fills and dances with the daffodils. Look at the poem. So first of all, you ask the students to read out the poem. Because a poem has to be read out. You can choose 2 boys, 2 girls, or 3 boys, 3 girls, if it is a co-ed school or college. So you ask them, read two stanzas, okay? And then what you do? First of all, you read, then ask the students to read out the poem. The poem should be read aloud. Read aloud means to openly read, to read aloud. Read loud is wrong English. Read aloud. Okay? So a poem has to be read aloud. Now, then you take one stanza. I wander lonely as a cloud that floats on high over valleys, vales and hills. When all at once I saw a crowd, a host of golden daffodils, beside the lake, beneath the trees, fluttering and dancing in the breeze. So, what happened? So what did the poet do? Poet wandered. Wandered means without any guidelines. Wandered wherever he wanted to go. Without any restrictions. The poet wandered lonely. How was the poet? How did he wander? Like a cloud, which was lonely also. Lonely cloud that floats on high over vales and hills. Over vales, valleys and hills, the cloud. So he moved he wandered. He moved aimlessly, wandered. Move aimlessly, wandered. Like a lonely cloud, like a vagabond. Vagabond, not in a bad sense, vagabond. Okay, because you have a poem, Vagabond, I think, that floats on the high over vales and hills. So that cloud floats above the vales and hills, valleys and hills. When all at once I saw a crowd, when all at once, surprisingly, I saw a crowd, full of crowd, many, saw a crowd, host of golden daffodils. Golden, because it was red, golden color. Golden daffodils, not even red. Because I have seen daffodils. I have been to England last year in this month. So I sat beside the lake and the daffodils. Daffodils beside the lake, beneath the trees. So below the trees, beside the lake, beneath the trees, fluttering. Fluttering means moving, fluttering. कौन गेट है? अच्छा अच्छा. Host of golden daffodils beside the lake, beneath the trees, fluttering, moving from side to side, fluttering and dancing. And then the flowers were dancing in the breeze. Breeze means the wind. Because you find the lake is a very huge lake. And beside the lake there were golden color. Golden color is not the red. It's like a gold color. Gold is not the yellow, deep yellow you find. And when it was reflected, it came under the sun. So you find beside the lake, beneath the trees, fluttering and dancing in the breeze. Fluttering. Okay? Continuous as the stars that shine. Continuous. Not by one, but in a host of golden daffodils, many, uncountable. So he says a crowd. You cannot count in a crowd. 10,000 at a glance. Did he count 10,000? Never. Just we say 9,000 people came. Thousands people came. So you find continuous stars that shine and twinkle on the Milky Way. Twinkle on the Milky Way. Milky Way, that the stars that at night you see in a line. So you find the stretch Milky Way, they stretch in never-ending line. Because you can see the host without counting, you can say the host of golden daffodils, innumerable. Okay. Along they stretch in never-ending line along the margin of a bay. Margin of a bay. The border of the, you find that bay of a river, bay of a lake, by the side of the lake. Okay? 10,000 saw I at a glance. Just at a glance I saw. I didn't count. I saw at a glance, at a stretch, glance. A glance, he gave me a glance. In a glance I could, in a sudden look, in a glance I could see. Glance. Suddenly you see something in a glance. Don't look at the thing for the second time. In a glance I saw. Thousands of people came to attend the funeral of Mahatma Gandhi. Okay? Along the margin of a bay, 10,000 saw I at a glance. 10,000 means many. Did he count them? He did not count them. Okay? 10,000 saw I at a glance, tossing their heads in sprightly means spirited dance. So you find those daffodils are dancing, moving their heads. What is moving their heads? They are by the wind moving their heads from side to side. Okay? Tossing their heads, touching their heads in sprightly means sportively, in a sprightly dance. The waves beside them dance. So not only those daffodils dance, but also the waves of the lake. It's a very vast lake, like Chilika. Of course, Chilika is the natural lake you find, but it is as good as Chilika. And I passed through that lake. So it is very big. I passed through a steamer. So I saw them, the water. Okay. They beside them dance, but they outdid the sparkling waves in glee. In glee means in happiness, in joy, in joy, J-O-Y, joy. The waves beside them dance, but they outdid. They outdid means they bet the sparkling waves. They outdid. Okay. A poet could not but be gay. Means could not but. A poet cannot remain silent. He is bound to join a poet. He doesn't say about a common man. Because common man may not take a liking to daffodils. Because when you go, what you see? When you go to botanical garden here, Bhubaneswar, botanical garden, what do you see? You see so many flowers. Unless you are a lover, you won't sit by the side of the rose of the daffodils. Even the daffodils in our garden, in a botanical garden, Nandankanan, you can come with a teacher and see it. The daffodils are there. Okay? But unless you have that poetic mind, that poetic mind means the mind for beauty of nature. Beauty of nature. So, how many of us will be interested in beauty? Tell me. We only know the physical beauty, but the inner beauty. A poet is interested in inner beauty. Suppose Radhanath Rai for Chilika or Gopabandhu, that's Raha Khede, all of them Odia. Raha Khede Baspio Sakata Dekibi Chilika Charu Chitrapato. Look at this your Sakata means train. Baspio Sakata, look, this is how the poet uses the word. Baspio Sakata. Because at that time trains were running by the coal. So if a Raha Baspio Dekibi Chilika Charu Chitrapato, the beauty of Chilika. So he says, चित्र मणा जन नाही असं विश्व की ये सब विश्व की ये चित्र संभव माने he could believe that the world could possess such beauty. Similarly, you find here Wordsworth was spellbound. Spellbound means bimugdha hoijiba, spellbound. Bimugdha hoijiba. Okay, stunned. Stunned. She has a stunning beauty. Okay. A poet could not but be gay. Poet cannot remain silent. He will be happy. Gay. Gay means Anand. Anand. Mad. Mad completely. Okay? Like Chaitanya, you remember the picture of Chaitanya, turned mad when he saw Jagannath. Jagannath is not a god, but a beauty for Chaitanya. Okay? So, in such a jocund company, a poet could not but be gay in such a jocund. Jocund means jolly, happy, friendly, jocund company. I gazed and gazed. The poet looked, gazed, looked at the gazed and gazed. But little thought. He couldn't believe he was spellbound. Bimugdha hoijiba. He could not say anything. He turned dumb. D-U-M-B. Dumb, not dumb. Dumb. D-U-M-B. Pronunciation dumb. Okay? I guess I gave little thought what wealth the show to me had brought. What show had brought to me, I couldn't imagine. What was the beauty of this? I did not know it. But I was simply amazed. And the word is amazed. Amazed. Okay? Amazed. Surprise. Greater than surprise. Amazed. I couldn't speak anything. I became speechless. I became speechless. What wealth the show had to me had brought. The wealth, those are not the wealth like gold and money, but beauty. Beauty of nature. That the sparkling beauty of thousands of daffodils, a crowd. So this is what as you find the poet saw. Okay? Then you find he came back home. And when you come back home, suppose you went with your parents to a beautiful site, say about Koraput, Kalahandi, beautiful sites are Kalahandi there. Thuamur Rampur, so many on Fuljaran or even to Koraput or Chilika. So all these places when you go, you don't think anything, just to go dance with your friends, with your relatives, with your brothers, with your sisters, all those you come. But when you come back, if you are a sensitive mind, don't think everybody will be affected by this. No, I don't say. No. Only some sensitive. Sensitive means, how can I explain to the student sensitive? If you tell a student, you rascal, if that boy is sensitive, he'll say, why did sir call me rascal? What was my fault? He'll come again and again to the teacher to know the meaning of rascal. Because he'll be touched. So everybody cannot be touched. Everyone cannot be touched. Some people, they are touched. If you give them a slap, all of them will go, but somebody will say, sir, why did sir give me a slap? What for? What has been a mistake? So you go on thinking. Similarly, when the poet came back home, when on my couch with bed I lie in vacant or in pensive mood. Whether I am in vacant, means I am thinking nothing, or pensive, thoughtful mood, vacant or pensive mood. Okay? They flash upon the that inward eye. Those things come to me. Now I am an aged man, but very often I think of my school days, my college days, how I used to go to school. All those things come to my inward eye. But that is human nature. A sensitive mind, remember what I mean, a sensitive boy will think when he goes back home that what did the teacher teach me? Whether I can find daffodils in Koraput. You may find in Koraput daffodils, or in Kolahandi, or in Balangir. But in Bhorda you won't find, except in that Nandankanan, botanical garden. But or you can find in some science laboratories. Okay? In vacant or in pensive mood, they flash upon the inward eye. They come to me in inward eye, which is the bliss of solitude. Bliss means anand, bliss. Not the blessing, anand, bliss of solitude. When you are alone, solitude. Solitude doesn't mean only when you are a crowd and you are there. Even you can feel the solitude in a crowded place. In a crowd you can see solitude, loneliness. When you are alone, those thoughts come to you. Okay? And which is the bliss of solitude? Only loneliness. When you are alone, those thoughts bring to you pleasure, anand. Because you think of those things from your heart of hearts. Nobody asks you to think, but you think. And when you think, you get happiness. You get anand. And then my heart with pleasure fills. So my heart is filled in with pleasure. My heart is filled in with pleasure. And then my heart with pleasures fills and dances with the daffodils. Because the poet is not near the valley. No, the poet is never near the valley. The poet has come back home and on his couch, or on his bed, on his couch. And what happens? They flash upon the poet's eye. Those things come. This is romantic quality. When I told you he is a romantic is one who thinks of the past. And by thinking of the past, he gets pleasure. He gets tremendous happiness. He gets pleasure. And then my heart with pleasures fills. My heart is full of pleasures. And dances with the daffodils. Who dances? Dances with the daffodils. My heart. I dance with the daffodils. As the daffodils move, dance from side to side. So I also dance with the daffodils. Okay? So and dances with the daffodils. I am reminded of daffodils. I am in my couch. I am in my room. I am in my bedroom. But those thoughts bring to me happiness, anand. Because those thoughts can take away the burden of my living, burden of my existence, my living. So I get pleasure. So what they silent now? They are dancing, they are fluttering in the flapping in the wind. Okay. And they look continuous, without any stop, and twinkle in the Milky Way. So they were like twinkling in the Milky Way means that Milky Way is a star-studded sky. So there you find as if they are dancing in the Milky Way. Stars. They stretch in never-ending lines, along the margin of a bay. 10,000 saw I at a glance, washing their heads in sprightly, sportive dance. The waves beside them danced, but they outdid. The waves dancing, these daffodils dancing. Who won? Daffodils. Outdid them. I outdid my friend in 100-meter race. I outdid my friend in 100-meter race. So outdid sparkling waves in glee. A poet could not but be gay. So what? A poet, a true poet cannot remain silent. Okay? In such a jocund, pleasant company, I gazed and gazed but little thought. So, what wealth the poet could not know what thought brought to him. immense happiness. Immense happiness. For after, so this is one part. Then he went back home and he slept, and suddenly he started jumping. The thought of daffodils came to his mind in vacant or pensive mood. They flash upon the inward eye, which is the bliss of solitude. Bliss of solitude, solitude, loneliness. When it gives some happiness, when you are alone. When you are alone, absolutely alone, without parents, without children, you are alone in a room. So many thoughts come to you. Some thoughts gives you pleasure. Even by thinking of that, you dance. And then my heart with pleasure fills and dances with the daffodils. So I am also enlightened. I am also filled in with pleasure.